What's up, all? This NFL released the 2020 NFL schedule this past Thursday. Seattle Seahawks are the season. The schedule is pretty crazy. They're going to be one of the most. They're going to have the farthest distance to travel out of any team with all the East Coast games. Some exciting matchups that I'm going to share. So let's get started. First game they have at the Atlanta Falcons in Week 1. A lot of people think this is going to be an easy win for Seattle. They're the favorites in this game. Now Atlanta, when Seattle played them last year, was very beat up. The starting quarterback was out. A lot of starting running back was out. A lot of linemen were hurt. So I expect this to be a tougher game for Seattle. Atlanta has a good defensive line. Seattle, their offensive line is right now up in the air. Not a lot of continuity. A lot of young players. I can see Atlanta making trouble for Seattle on the front lines, like defensively. Make it hard for Seattle to move the ball at all. Now, Atlanta's secondary is not very good. They don't have a lot of depth at the wide receiver position or running back positions. So you have that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this be a defensive game, kind of what we did. We would probably be a lower scoring game like the Week 1 last year with Seattle hosting Cincinnati. So Seattle tends to keep bad teams keep them in the game and then win later. So I'm thinking Seattle's going to win this game, or a possible win. Week 2 in Seattle, home opener, Sunday Night Football against the New England Patriots. First game without Tom Brady. It's going to be exciting. Unsure what to see from Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's team is very like the Seattle Seahawks, where it looks like they're in rebuilding season, but they go and bring in a lot of young players. This is going to be I wouldn't be surprised if this season will be like the Seattle's 2018 season, where everyone expected Seattle to win in only 4 games. So I don't expect this game to be a blowout for either side. I think this is going to be close and exciting. Week 3 in Seattle against the Dallas Cowboys. This game is going to be a lot harder for Seattle. Dallas is very good with new pieces brought in, good defensive line, pass rushers, and all that. Dak Prescott has a lot of good weapons. Dallas is one of the greatest offensive lines out there, so this is going to be a good test for Seattle. Week 4 at Miami. Now this is one of those trap games that people talk about where Seattle's victorious. Like it's only been recently that Seattle's been able to win on the East Coast. Now that can continue here in 2020, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Flores pulls an upset on Seattle in Week 4. But that's my opinion. I don't think. Now I'm not saying that's not my prediction, but I have a feeling that could happen. Week 5 versus Minnesota. Evening game at CenturyLink Field. This is another big exciting game. They've had a 2018 Monday night game, 2019 Monday night. So I'm excited to see this matchup again. 2 good teams playing against each other, 2 great defenses, Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson. Excited to see that game. Then Week 6 is a bye week for Seattle. Moving on to Week 7 at Arizona. Arizona is looking a lot scarier this year, bringing in DeAndre Hopkins in that trade, boosting their defense with Simmons in the first round. Brought in some offensive tackles. They got Kenyon Drake, and then their quarterback, second year of his career, getting a lot better. This is going to be a lot harder game than people think it will be. Seattle fans think it will be for Seattle. At San Francisco, this game is it's like in 2018 when Seattle. This game is going to be close, even though in 2018 it was Seattle's rebuilding season, supposedly. Rebuilding is more like reloading, as Pete Carroll says. Both games Seattle played against the LA Rams in 2018. They came down to the wire with the Rams winning out. I wouldn't be surprised to see even though Seattle's a little bit not as good on the offensive line in certain areas, I expect Seattle to play San Francisco very close in both these games. Yeah, I don't. It's very hard to go and say they're going to win this game or not. You don't know. It looks like Seattle was going to lose at San Francisco last year. They pulled out the upset in overtime, and then San Francisco narrowly losing San Francisco on the 1-inch yard line in Week 17. So, Week 9, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have a great defense. Russell Wilson has never played in Buffalo. Buffalo's just getting. I believe this is Buffalo's year to finally start their dynasty and win the AFC East for the first time in since '95, I believe. So, Buffalo Bills, led by Kyle Allen? No, what's that quarterback's name? Hello? I'm gonna find out who the quarterback's name is. Can't believe it. Josh Allen. So, yeah, Josh Allen. Pretty much a lot of people are saying Buffalo can only go as far as Josh Allen will lead them. So, it all depends on how well Josh Allen will play. Buffalo has a very stingy defense, one of the best in the NFL right now. So, it's going to be an exciting matchup. Just watch. And then, moving on to Week 10 at the LA Rams. And this is the first game in the Rams' new stadium. You just don't know what's going to happen with the Seahawks and Rams. The Rams play really tough. The Rams they have two new coordinators, defensive and offensive coordinators. They cut Todd Gurley. They traded Brandon Cooks. Eric Weddle retired. They cut Clay Matthews. So this is going to be a little bit different team than what we saw in 2018. I'm not going to say they're not going to be as dominant as they were in the last couple of years. I think they'll be a little bit more competitive than they were in 2018 than 2019 than I think they'll be more competitive than they were last year. Usually that's typical for a team after losing a Super Bowl or winning a Super Bowl to have a Super Bowl hangover. So I wouldn't be surprised. These games are going to, I believe all the NFC West games are going to be really tough and close this year, especially with how good everyone is. And then Week 11, Arizona comes into Seattle. Hopefully we can pull off a win this time. It just seems like every year we always lose to Arizona in Seattle. Hopefully if it's moved up a little bit further, maybe closer to mid-season, maybe that'll be a little bit easier on Seattle. Seattle always manages to lose it's usually the final couple games of the season where they play Arizona in Seattle. So hopefully things will change for Russell Wilson and company. Okay, going into Week 12, we're going to Philadelphia, a Monday Night Football game. This game is as a lot of people say, the revenge game for the Philadelphia Eagles, getting even with Seattle for their loss last year in the playoffs in regular season. Philadelphia built up a lot on their defense and running game. Exciting to see what will happen. Still too soon to know how great each team will be. Yeah, that's all I can say. Moving on, Week 13, New York Giants. This game, I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy win, but New York Giants are one of those teams that are still figuring things out. They don't have they're still rebuilding, so this should be a win for Seattle, I'm hoping. New York Jets, same thing. Week 14, and then at the Washington Redskins. The Redskins are one of those teams where new head coach Ron Rivera, former head coach of the Carolina Panthers, very defensive-minded coach. Defensive-minded. They have good drafted Chase Young. What's that other pass rusher? They have a couple good pass rushers they have brought in. Good young defense they're starting up. So I wouldn't sleep on them, especially late in the year. That's when the younger teams start winning those games. So Seattle should keep their eyes out for that. Week 16 versus the LA Rams, and Week 17 at the San Francisco 49ers. 2 pivotal games, I believe, for the NFC West. I wouldn't be surprised since there's 7 playoff game, 7 playoff teams per conference this year. The first time they've done that in NFL history. I wouldn't be surprised to see at least 3 NFC West teams with the Niners, Seahawks, and Rams. Cardinals can be pushing it like really close, potentially making it into the playoffs or knocking the Rams or Seahawks out. So that is the 2020 NFL schedule. I'll be doing a movie later, closer to the season, giving my predictions as soon as I know more on all the other teams, transactions, and status of all the teams. So that's all I have. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.